welcome to Happy Life Results Book Reading Group.
Hey everyone.
We're going to do a section in the lens. So we're in the lens, which we announced yesterday. And the section is, so we did 1 and 2 yesterday, and today we're doing A and B. I'll show you. So yesterday was 1 and 2, and today is A and B. All right, so write a new description of you as the hero of your choosing. Use your imagination and creativity as you describe who this hero is and what this hero is capable of. How clear and complete is the picture? At this point, all you are doing is imagining. Go big and go wide. Others' limits are not yours. Really expand your view. If the hero you describe could be successful at whatever they choose, what would it be? So that's A. And then B, how does your pre-transformation view of big dreams for the future differ from what you imagine your post-transformation view will be? Okay, let's talk about this. All right, so writing a description of you as the hero. And then if you could be successful, it's not like, oh, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do this. But if you look at it and say, if I could be successful at anything, what would I choose? What would I want to be like? What skills would I have? What abilities would I have? Go big and go wide. And you could even go bigger and wider and more creative and more expansive than you think is possible, just to kind of get those creative juices going and be curious and excited and interested and feel like, oh my gosh, could I do that? Could I do this? Like, if I could be successful, would I want to? And as much as you can, don't think about the process of you getting from where you are now to where you could imagine your hero could be, because that process is going to be very different than any process you've used in the past if you were using the traditional system. So that's super exciting.
So yeah, if you think about the concepts, now that you've learned all of them as a guide, which concepts are in play in this exercise? There's the lens, how you view what's possible for you, how you view yourself, how you view what you would do if anything were possible, and then limitlessness, like just expanding what you think is possible for you, and then there was
the engine, what are you capable of physically and optimal health.
And there'll probably be a bunch of signals that pop up when you start to think about yourself being more than you are now. So viewing those, and then there are all the tips for the hero having to do with, using the subconscious, like realizing how much more capable you are than just what the consciousness can do. So yeah, a lot of concepts come to play, and that's why instead of theory, application, it was, Stacy, how do you learn all of the theory? Because it's going to interplay as you're applying it now.
Yes, you need the whole big picture, and looking at the way that you approach it has as much impact as the approach itself, the way you think about it. And so if this seems overwhelming or daunting, or like you would not want to do it, then be curious about that.
Yeah.
Say why.
Yeah, where's that coming from? What view, what lens is saying, oh, this is whatever, daunting, overwhelming.
Yeah, and I've had experiences where I was super excited to do this with someone and they were backpedaling. They were like, it'd be nice if I just was more peaceful.
Go big, go wide, peaceful, more peaceful. Yeah, I mean, which is still amazing.
Right?
Like, yeah, like you talked one of the times about how if someone is having, significant low energy frequently, and then they stop having that and just hit like a positive one more, that's huge.
Yeah, that's massive.
That's a big change in their life. Yeah,
stopping from those low lows. Like, those low lows are not there anymore. There are dips, but they're just not as low. And actually, I'd like to ask you the question, when was the last time you had a low? And you might be surprised, if you've gone through this material a lot, it might have been a while. A while ago.
The snow is getting warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more peaceful, that is wonderful, and obviously, it's, but when you're imagining what's possible, you see how far you can imagine, just as the exercise. That's the exercise. That's the practical application, right? That's what you're suggesting.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And for fun, I did it where I even imagine me having superhuman abilities, me having like I'm a superhero, and what are the qualities of a superhero that I think would be cool, and like go beyond even what I think is possible, just because when you do that, it lets you explore more than you would otherwise. So maybe I don't truly believe that I could climb the walls like Spider-Man. Maybe that's like, for me, I don't consciously believe I can do that. But just by putting it down and thinking, whoa, what would that be like? That would be so cool. And like imagining doing it, it just gets those creative juices flowing, and it makes it so that your limits are much more expanded than they would be otherwise.
And you probably experienced that in yes storms.
Yes storms.
Brainstorms.
We call them yes storms.
Where you say yes to everything and just keep encouraging more and more ideas, because after the first few ideas, if you just shoot each one down, it's in a group setting, it's really hard to get that free flow of ideas going. But if you just accept everything, even the crazier you go, then the less crazy, the more quote unquote realistic are more likely to pop up in your head once you've opened the doors for it. So she's trying to encourage a way to get that opening, the doors open, right?
Yes. And it's fun because whenever you think about what are humans capable of, what is possible for humans, and you look and you say, okay, who ran the farthest, the longest, the hardest, who went without food, you look at Guinness Book Records or Olympic athletes and things like that, and you say, is this the highest, is this the pinnacle, the peak of human capabilities? And then realize that every year those records get broken.
Oh, it's like the guy at the patent office that thought all the patents had been discovered as well in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, there's not going to be any more. We've
already invented everything.
Yeah, we invented everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's fun when we talk about limitlessness, that when we say limitlessness, it means we don't know the limit. So it's going forward to find the limits, but it doesn't mean that there are never going to be a limit.
And it doesn't mean we know that there are no limits.
Yes, either way.
Right, it's the limits are unknown, so explore how far you can go.
Yes. And just really quick, some people might think, well, I don't want to explore my limits to their full capacity because I might risk my overall health. I might risk my overall wellness if I try these extremes. Right. And so we're definitely not advocating any kind of extremes. We're not saying we're not sitting here saying you need to lift the heaviest weight that man has ever lifted. No.
Yeah. I mean, if that's been your lifelong dream, and maybe that's you, but we're not saying that we think you should do that.
No. Or try climbing the walls or anything.
Yes, no. And the idea of this exercise is to focus on the lens part of it.
Yes.
Which is how you view all of those things.
And pay attention to how you feel when you're viewing the lens.
Those signals. Look for the signals when you're exploring your lens.
Yes. Okay, we just kind of rapid fire. Okay, we'll talk about it again tomorrow. Oh wait, no, we have to talk about the pre-transformation view. How would they differ?
Yes. So think about how you view what your possibilities are before you master up. That's the pre-transformation. What are your big dreams before you master up? If you see yourself as mastering up, then what are your dreams? So kind of compare and see how those contrast based on your understanding of up and what you would be like having mastered up. Then what are your dreams at that point?
And if you wanted to, you could go back to the 22 up in context, the 22 examples, and go back to your own examples and say, if I fully mastered up, what would it look like? And then you could pick some contexts and expand them, because maybe you could think about them more fully and say, okay, in the area of relationships, what would it look like? In the area of focus, what would it look like?
So we've bounced a bunch of ideas at you. The main thing is take something that has to do with the lens, a practical exercise that has to do with how you currently view things and how you would like to view things, and do one of these things, just one. You don't have to do everything we described. We just threw a bunch of ideas. Pick the one that you think will be the most beneficial to you and do it. We're in the hero work now, so let's get to work.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.